Good morning. Welcome to Family Jewels. I'm Colton Bartell.
And I'm Audie Bartell.
And we're both graduate gemologists here at Susann's Custom Jewelers. And this morning we're going to be talking about one of the most mispronounced gemstones in the jewelry industry.
Yep. That's that dot stuff.
Today we're going to be talking about Peridot. And though we know that it is August birthstone and we're well past that, we still wanted to talk about it. So, yeah. Anyway, this is one of those stones that people a lot of times will look at it and they're not overly impressed, but many times it's just because they haven't seen a nice one. A lot of the commercial quality stuff that's out there is not very attractive. No. It's not cut real well, and a lot of times even the people selling it don't pronounce it right. Which doesn't make it any better. So we're going to be talking about Peridot, and we've got a lot of examples of it to show you. We've got some really good pictures of it to show you, and a few interesting facts.
Sounds like we're going hunting.
It does?
And looking for two does. Peridots. Aha. Okay. No.
This is why we should probably start pre-recording these.
maybe they'll stick with them. That it's Peridot instead of Peridot. What do you think? Maybe not. Okay.
Moving on. Anyway, so Peridot, obviously, if you guys have seen it, you know that this is a green gem, primarily kind of a yellowish green, can have, in the really, really nicer quality stuff, can even resemble emerald, but really rare.
Probably, on the yellowy side of the emerald. It
wouldn't be the blue side. No. But it's been, in the past, been confused with emerald. Matter of fact, in here they were talking about...
I don't think I've ever confused it with emerald.
I haven't ever confused it with emerald, no. But...
pick somebody off the street or whatever.
So, it said in here was going back through some of my GAA books and stuff, and it's talking about Cleopatra's famous emerald collection was probably actually Peridot. And then, for centuries, people believed that the fabulous 200-carat gems adorning the shrine of the three holy kings in Germany. They thought they were emeralds.
I didn't even know they had three holy kings in Germany.
I didn't either. But apparently everybody thought that these stones that were in there were emeralds, but in fact were Peridot. So, good morning, Myrtle. Thank you for joining us.
Well, that one other thing that was kind of amazing and maybe kind of doing that Cleopatra thing is... they've actually mined Peridot for 3,500 years in Egypt. Yeah.
And actually, so on a little island that's in the Red Sea.
That's kind of amazing. So that kind of makes sense that she thought she had. But they called it an evening emerald.
Well, so this is... but they also thought it was maybe even topaz. Because at the time, the island in the Red Sea was actually called Topazios. And now it's known...
That's a cool name. I
know. Why didn't they just leave it at that? Now it's St. John's Island. How basic is that?
Probably named after one of those kings.
Yeah.
Of Germany.
But it's now around Egypt. Okay. Or it's Zabargad.
What?
Zabargad.
Well, that sounds German.
Yeah. I still like Topazios. I mean, where are you going? Topazios? Oh, that sounds like a cool island.
I'll bet you what they thought, though, that it was close to Italy, because that sounds more Italian. So then they were saying, we're going to Topazios. Oh, so that'd be like off the toe of Italy? No, it's over by Egypt. Topazios? See, they was all confused.
It's all Greek to them. Anyway... they actually were mining that for a long time, and the problem was when they were mining that, there on that little island is, and I was reading this back through and it kind of reminded me, whenever they found this stuff, on this little bitty island. The whole island was like completely covered in snakes.
Really?
And so Pharaoh wanted this stone so bad that they actually went and got a ton of guys, and they drove all the snakes into the water,
Really?
clearing the island so that they wouldn't get bit or attacked while they're trying to mine for what they thought was emerald or topaz.
So did they ask for volunteers to drive the snakes
I
into
really
the sea?
don't know.
I'm kind of thinking driving that snake into the sea would be kind of like trying to herd chickens. You know, like...
Or cats.
Yeah, I mean, what's the chances?
I have no idea.
Maybe they had like little torches or something, and because the snakes don't like torch.
No.
Maybe that's how they drove them.
I don't know
'Cause as
many
far
animals that are like, ooh, a torch,
Like-
give me.
Like you couldn't like ride a horse and herd them.
No. I'm
Got
thinking
what?
this has got to be a pretty extensive thing to get them off the
Was it a
island.
big island?
I don't know. It says it's a small island.
Well, even if it was like...
But I liked how they worded it in here. It said that legend has it the island was infested with snakes, making mining unpleasant. Unpleasant mining for the Egyptians.
I thought it was a peridot, but it was a snakehead.
But I mean, how much pleasant mining was there for people working for the Egyptians?
Yeah.
It was pretty much all slave labor. It didn't matter what you were doing. You could have been baking cakes, and it's not a pleasant job. But let's throw some snakes in there, and it's only unpleasant mining.
Yeah. But once they got rid of the snakes, then it was pleasant mining.
No, it was just peasant mining.
Oh, peasant mining.
Yeah, there you go.
They left the L out.
We don't even get the dun-dun on that. That's a bad joke. Anyway, so back on subject here. Peridot.
Maybe it's just a misspelling.
No, it was just a bad joke. Okay, so
What'd you have in your coffee?
I haven't had any. That's what's really bad. Okay, so anyway, for the 10th time,
Yeah.
Peridot primarily going to be this yellowish green color.
And kind of explain why, because this is a little bit unusual.
So this is a little unusual. Normally with gemstones, in their pure state, they're going to be colorless. Peridot is one of those exceptions because what colors peridot is iron. And
if it don't have iron in it, it's not going to be peridot.
It's not going to be peridot, yeah, because it's part of its chemical composition. So a lot of this stuff is actually going to be formed due to volcanic activity.
And they don't make a synthetic.
There's not a synthetic. However, it can be found in meteorites.
Mm.
And it can be found in diamond. I've actually seen peridot inclusions inside of diamond, which is really unusual. I've also seen garnet inclusions inside of diamond, which is pretty unusual too. And what I mean by that is it's actually, you have a faceted diamond.
Well, not... Oh, okay. I thought you said that faceted diamond on the inside.
Oh, no, that'd be impressive. No. They got a faceted diamond, and one of the inclusions within it is actually either peridot or garnet, or it could be another type of stone, but I have seen actual peridot crystal inclusions within a diamond, which is actually really cool.
They have zircon. They have zircon in diamond.
Possibly. But I know peridot and garnet because I've seen both of those.
Yeah.
But there's some other stones that it just wouldn't happen with, different formations and all sorts of stuff that would keep it from happening. But this stone in particular, this is one of those stones that has only one...
No heat treatment.
Yeah. Always going to be natural.
So it's one of the stones that when you see peridot, that's it. I mean, there hasn't been any
treatment.
No color enhancement.
No. And so...
I would guess sometimes maybe they wish there was some...
Yeah, they probably do. But with peridot, they're gonna range in color, but they're not gonna really have different colors. It's always gonna have a green element to the color.
Right.
So it can go from a
yellowish
somewhat
green.
Greenish yellow
or
to
green
to a brownish green or greenish brown.
I'm going to say
it's all going to have
you said
that
greenish yellow. I'm going to say a yellowish green to a brownish green.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some that are a little bit more on the yellow side and have that green modifier to them, but it's primarily going to be those yellowish green stones. And so you're going to have kind of this little bit of a lime color, just not as intense of green.
Yeah, and that's probably the best example that we've got.
That we've got set up right now is going to be like this here.
But most of the
stuff is going to be like these. We've got a lot of this peridot. The most common shape for this stuff's obviously going to be ovals. But in calibrated sizes, and by that we mean that they're actually a standard size, like a 6x4 or a 5x7 or something like that. They're going to be a set standard size that is used primarily in more widely.
Where did I bring that one out? Oh, there.
Yeah, and then we've got this one that's kind of an unusual octagon.
But it almost looks like an oval octagon.
Yeah. It's kind of an unusual shape.
But a pretty stone.
It is a pretty stone. Then we've got one that's a trillion here. It's kind of cool. And then we've got this cushion with a checkerboard top cut on it. The thing with peridot is this stuff typically does not get real large. It can, but what we normally see is going to be primarily stones under about 3.5 carats. Under that, you usually don't get anything much larger than that, except on a regular basis.
Except that whenever I was telling you about the sweet, that sold maybe a year or two ago, I guess. And what was kind of amazing about that one is all the stones were from Pakistan, and if I remember the story right, they made earrings, a necklace, a bracelet, and a ring.
And this is actually Pakistan peridot material here. This is getting closer to that emerald color. Really pretty.
But they used 44,000 carats of this Afghan material, and some of the stones were Pakistan. Or maybe it was Afghanistan. Well, it was one of the two. I mean, the two countries are close anyway.
Yeah.
But there was some fairly large stones, especially in the necklace. But 44,000. But it was like really nice stuff, really deep green, well cut, like that stone right there.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you kind of the. Oh, that's kind of cool. So they had some other cool facts on this. This little deal I'm getting ready to show you here, but this is actually a little bit easier to see.
The crystal,
and then a faceted peridot. What's really cool is
a hexagonal system.
That these stones have real unusual inclusions in them too. That's unique to specifically
lily pad
peridot, and no other stone actually has this, and it's what's called lily pad inclusions. And I actually have a picture of those so you can kind of see what these look like. So these little lily pad inclusions, these are actually within the stone. You can kind of see some here, but they're a little bit more visible in this picture here. These actually only occur in peridot. And so you see a greenish yellow stone, you look at it under magnification and you see those little inclusions like that. That's pretty much definite that you've got lily pads and that you've got peridot. So
it's caused by what, chromite?
Yeah. So chromite crystals.
These aren't as cool. Those are cool.
Yeah. But something else that they had on here.
It's actually what's happening. It's almost like that chromite in there has somewhat exploded because it's causing a
fracture.
Yeah, a halo fracture.
Yeah. And what happens within that is, so you have this kind of parting where there's either an absence of air or there's a gas that's trapped in there within that break, and that's what's causing that little lily pad become visible.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can even have a little bit of an iridescence to them.
It's a diffraction.
Yeah,
thing.
and it's just, it's basically changing the way the light's getting reflected in there.
But the problem gets to be is, if there's a whole bunch of them in there, somebody's probably not going to like that in there.
Yeah, it's not
Peridot.
going to look real pretty.
It's just cool to us, I guess.
Yeah. But something else I just noticed on this one that we pulled up here, that it says on here that they wore it as a talisman set in gold since 1500 BC. And Zeberet freed of snakes to facilitate prospecting. And prospecting was done at night because the stones were almost invisible in daylight. Seems really, really unusual.
Maybe they just had the dark sunglasses on when they were doing that.
I don't know.
They didn't use the sunglasses at night.
It's not a Corey Hart song. Okay, anyway. So then we got these two heart shapes that are pretty cool. They're a little bit larger.
I told you we had hearts.
Well, I'm a caring person. So.
Well, you said you didn't remember them.
Well, I didn't remember.
And these are
them.
really pretty.
Yeah, they are.
We need to set those up.
Like on a shelf, or
we need to send that to the jeweler and have him mount those.
So we've got some more examples of the peridot here. Typically, these are going to occur in, like we said, smaller crystals. So you can actually see on this page here where we've got much smaller crystals. And
some of this happens in Arizona.
Yep.
Some of the nicer peridot is in Arizona. Not noticeably big stuff.
No, primarily that's pretty small stuff. I've actually seen some examples like this where it was almost like it was an aggregate, where there was just, millions of little bitty crystals all packed in together basically in one rock. And obviously you can't cut that, but it's kind of a cool mineral specimen to see that. But the typical thing you're going to find with peridot, you're going to see it in this color most often, that kind of yellowish green. You're going to find them in calibrated sizes pretty often. You can find unusual cuts. Sometimes you can find larger stones. But really what you're wanting to look for is you're really wanting to look for stuff like this one that we showed you earlier. This.
I'm going to say those are few and far between.
Yeah.
But they said that there's a mine in Pakistan that's in the Himalayas 15,000 feet above sea level, that it produces some crystals so large that they can yield finished gems of 50 carats or more.
Wow.
That'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah. Is actually this one that we just showed you is 172.53 carats.
That's big.
That's a big stone.
Yep.
That's a really big stone. Not real practical to wear, but
well,
you could.
You get a necklace, you just couldn't go jogging.
You could. You're going to get injured.
get beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that is a really pretty stone. I could see where that could get mistaken for emerald.
Yeah. Or you could even maybe mistake it for tourmaline or savrite even. Probably see a little bit of doubling in there, which would rule out the savrite, but still really pretty stone.
It's quite... I don't know what the refractive index is on that.
I don't remember.
It's not overly hard.
No.
What,
6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
So
about like quartz, I guess.
Yeah. So it does need to be worn with a little bit of care. You're probably going to see, if it's being worn on a ring or something like that, you may over time see a little bit of abrasion. But for the most part, these are fairly inexpensive stones. So unless you've got something like this, a lot of times what will happen is over time you'll just eventually maybe replace that stone if it's seeing a lot of abrasion,
right? Rather
than having it repolished or recut. With some of these. I was hoping we had some of these prized. Yeah, so these little stones here, these are 3/4 carat stones each here, and these are like $35 a piece. So not real expensive stones.
Not until you get. I mean, they could get more expensive if that color gets a little more intense.
Yeah, or they get significantly larger.
Yeah.
Then you start to jump up in price, and so we don't even have those heart shapes priced yet. But like you get into this one here, this is a 2.41 carat Peridot. This one's $240. So you get into some of these that are maybe a little cleaner, a little bit nicer color, and a little bigger, then the price will start to jump a little bit. So basically what you're looking for, though, is you want something that's got nice even color, that's pretty clean, cut well, and the biggest deal is the color.
Yeah. And it's going to be green.
Yeah, it's going to be green. But, so, do you have anything else?
No, that little island thing just kind of...
Yeah.
3,500 years, you'd think they'd have found them all by now.
You would think.
Must be a huge island. Let's see, where is that thing at?
Yeah, it's
got to be right up there.
Yeah, it's going to be in the Red Sea, but this is kind of a map to show you where all the mining locations around the world are primarily. But and actually, this map actually has on here tourmaline and peridot. So the ones that we're mainly looking at on here for this is basically the Southwest United States, Egypt, Pakistan, and Myanmar or Burma. Are the primary ones, which is going to be over between basically India and Cambodia or Vietnam area. So those are going to be your primary sources for it, and all of those again are going to be producing very similar colors. They may have a little bit different qualities. They may have a little bit different qualities and sizes. Like we said, the Arizona stuff, usually decent quality, but size is usually quite a bit smaller. And then the Pakistan stuff is going to be, some of it's going to be fairly large and really good quality.
Pakistan, Afghanistan. I think that stuff is close. I mean, I think maybe some of it, maybe some of those mines might be part Afghan, part Pakistan. I know it's close.
Yeah. So anyway, if you guys want to learn more about Peridot or you'd like to see them, you can always stop by our store here at 4226 South Alameda here in Corpus Christi in the Town and Country Shopping Center. Or you can visit us online at Susanns-Jewelers.com. You can always call us at 361-991-7565, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. And if you guys have any comments or questions, you can always leave them right here on the video.
Except this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday we will actually be closed.
Yeah.
We've got a golf tournament to attend.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but you can always leave us a message right here on Facebook. And if you guys have any suggestions or questions or anything that you'd like us to talk about in future episodes that's jewelry related, probably ought to specify that. It's jewelry related. Please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. Anyway, we thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.